Hi everyone, it's Jules and welcome to Jules FM. Today I wanted to do something a little different. Instead of interviewing someone incredible, which I've been so lucky to do so far, I wanted to sit with you and reflect on the past 12 months. And I wanted to be really honest because like you, my brain's default is to jump straight into the things I haven't done yet, the goals that are still sitting on the list, and the achievements I thought I would have ticked off by now. But lately, I've been thinking, what if that isn't actually the point of reflecting on a year? What if the real growth and the real success, are the things that we overlooked? So today I wanted to talk about the wins, the quiet, unexpected ones I've had, the ones that didn't feel like wins at the time, but when I look back, absolutely are. When I started this podcast, I honestly did not know what I was doing. I was learning a whole new skill set from scratch. Microphones, interfaces, editing software, lighting, camera angles, recording platforms, and half the time, I didn't even know what half the buttons did. I was very fortunate to have my younger son, Finn, help me a lot getting started, but like a typical 16-year-old boy, the novelty wore off pretty quickly for him. And he selfishly has his own life. So I had to learn how to do all this stuff on my own. Well, with his guidance, but then continue it on my own. And I could have easily said, it's too hard, I'm too old, I'll never figure this stuff out. But I didn't. I kept learning. I kept troubleshooting, I kept asking questions, and I kept trying again. And that's a win. That's a huge one. Another win, and this one I wasn't expecting, is that I let my story evolve. Actually, on a couple of occasions. I started another podcast first, probably maybe 12 months ago. And it was on well-being, and I registered the name. I started the social pages. I had planned about 3 months of posts. And I think I released maybe 6 episodes before I worked out that there are people doing this topic way better than I could, with way more experience. And I want you to understand that when I started that podcast, I let every person know in my contact, my phone. I think I text them all individually, and I put notices on Facebook, and I certainly publicized wide and far that I was starting this new podcast. So when the episode stopped coming and I decided to absolve it, I had to deal with a little bit of sense of failure. Like, oh gosh, what are people going to think? Because it's just stopped. Mind you, I didn't have a huge following at that point. It was mostly my friends, but they're the ones that I kind of thought counted most because they knew that I had started something and not finished it. But somehow I managed to work through that, and I realized that okay, by not doing this and by being okay with this, I'm also hopefully showing them and my kids that I'm okay. It's okay. And it doesn't really matter what people think. I tried something new. It didn't work. That's okay. And instead of worrying about not succeeding, I decided to take that experience, learn from it, and evolve. And for me, that was huge. So I let that one go. But I knew at that stage I needed something truly authentic because I knew that this is where I was meant to be. With my love of voiceovers, being creative, I thought, okay, I'm going to keep giving this a go. But it had to be true to me so that I wouldn't, one, run out of content, but also because I needed to be able to have a true voice here. And that's when I started Jules FM. But for those of you who have listened from the beginning, you will also know that it's changed direction somewhat. When Jules FM began, it was meant to be about my journey back into the world of voiceovers. And that is still something that I want to do. It really excites me. I love it. But as I kept showing up each week, I realized something, that there is still so much I want to learn about achieving goals and succeeding in any field. And I, like so many of you out there probably, have blocks still. And I wanted to work out ways forward and what needed to change so that I could actually progress. And the best way to learn that, I figured, is from people who have already done it. I realized that if I would benefit from these conversations though, so would a lot of other people, and especially the teenagers I work with at school. So often I hear them just not sure about who they are or struggling with what they can bring or where to go and feeling a bit lost. So I thought it would be amazing if they had some guidance in this area as well. Because so many people, so many of us are navigating the exact same things we talk about here. Fear, pressure, identity, setbacks, not feeling enough, and wanting so badly to succeed. And here's the truth, and it feels vulnerable to say out loud. My solo journey started also to feel a little selfish, like I was just chasing something for me. But this podcast has become something bigger. It's become a way to contribute, to hopefully help others, to share stories and wisdom from people who have climbed mountains so that all of us, me included, can learn how to climb ours. And that's a massive win. Another win, maybe the biggest one, is that this year I started facing fears I would have avoided in the past. There were episodes that I was really nervous about, guests I wasn't sure I was ready for, moments where I doubted myself or felt out of my depth. And every time I reminded myself of the things I've learned already from guests, like stay where your feet are, just have a go. Keep moving forward even when it feels hard. Breathe deeply and truly be in the moment. And don't take yourself too seriously. And these little mindset shifts, these tiny internal adjustments, have been such powerful teachers. And the more I practice them, the more natural they feel. Don't get me wrong, I'm still excited and nervous at the same time about future guests, things to come, what I need to do. Is this working? Am I good enough? But I know that I'll be okay if I just remember these things. One thing I'm starting to see more clearly than ever is also that success isn't a straight line, and it doesn't arrive overnight, which is another challenge for me at times. I'm rather an impatient person, and it absolutely doesn't just happen because someone is talented or lucky. There's something deeper at play, and it's a way of thinking. A willingness to show up is really important, and a resilience that doesn't always look glamorous, but makes all the difference. And there's no coincidence that some people rise while others fall away. I can recognize now that I'm learning these things and I'm practicing them every day. These are wins. These are things that have changed who I am, that are helping me build and become the person I want to be. So I'm celebrating these. I've learned so much from the people who've sat on this podcast already. The way they think, the way they prepare, the way they stay present and focused, and the way they get back up again and again when things aren't easy. And that's why I love this podcast, because every conversation leaves us with something we can use, something we can try, something that just helps us build the life we want to have. So if you're listening right now, I want to offer you the same reframing that I'm giving myself. Instead of thinking about everything you didn't achieve this year, look back at how far you've come. Look at what you've survived. Look at what you've learned, the fears you faced, the moments you kept going, even when it felt heavy, the difference you may have made to someone's life, however small, in whatever moments. These are the things that matter. They count. They are the wins. These are the moments we need to remember to celebrate, and the ones that make our life more fulfilling. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, for growing with me, and for supporting this podcast in ways you might not even realize. I hope you'll continue this journey with me, learning from inspiring people, staying curious, and becoming braver together. Don't forget to hit subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform. There are so many awesome guests and episodes to come, and you don't want to miss them. I'd also love you to share this episode with someone you know who has a lot to be proud of but might not realize, or who's on their own journey. Until next time.